So we recently had an influencer reach out to us and asked to do a collaboration, and we respectfully declined because it was not in our budget right now. Then she essentially tried to blackmail us by
This video is right now going viral. As we are speaking right now, it is at 61 million views and still going. This is a response by JL Patisserie to a micro-influencer by the name Glamora, who gave a very bad review and was very unethical. And people online reacted to it with a lot of rage. Others had to go to this JL Patisserie or the bakery to test for themselves. And even other influencers came calling her out because whatever she did was wrong. But before we continue, I want us to paint the whole picture of what happened. So we'll see the side of Glamora first, then we'll switch and we'll be able to see whatever Glamora did and the screenshots, because they went ahead and shared the screenshots of their conversations. There's a lot of entitlement that influencers are getting, which is so wrong. I'm going to go straight to Glamora's video so that we can be able to understand and have an understanding of what is actually happening. This is the review. Let's watch it together.
But you cannot use fake ass ingredients. That pistachio color is about as natural as my boobs, ass, and waistline. The coffee was super sour and acidic, but I prefer a creamy chocolatey espresso. $5 for a canali. I didn't even pay that in Santro fucking pay, but that's the price next to the Phoenix airport. Okay. I was also super disappointed in the quiche. I prefer a quiche with a thick, rich, buttery crust. This had a paper thin crust. If I wanted to ingest this much eggs, I would have eaten an omelet. I absolutely loved the pumpkin pie croissant, but everything was a little on the sweet and rich side, which some people love. Personally, I like my sweets a little less sweet, so I'd rather get treated like shit and go to Paris Baguette. Now, with all of that being said, I think if you
sounds so wrong. This sounds so wrong already. This sounds so wrong. As someone who is into content creation, this is so wrong, because we will see why, and you will understand why I'm saying this is so wrong, because people went out there and even judge for themselves. But the video that JL Patisserie did got a huge reaction, and people are even saying this was the best way to respond. As a business you're out here, you don't have a budget for influencers always. So the influencer approached the business, then the business had no budget, but the influencer had demands that if they give free meals, she'll give a better review. Meaning she is being influenced by what she is given, not necessarily giving authentic content or even what she feels. Just because she didn't get the free meals to a point that she wanted to be catered for the gratuity. Really? I'm telling you, people are mad out here. And even people in the service industry are mad about her. Let's watch her full video. Then we watch the response by JL Patisserie. Then I'm going to dive deep into some videos that I've gathered for you guys on people who have even served her, other influencers, people who went to the restaurant to test for themselves. It is really sad. Let's watch the JL Patisserie. And for your information, the videos in Glamora's account are already deleted. There's only one post in her social media, and that is also calling JL Patisserie to tell people not to not to comment on her posts. It's really ridiculous. This lady is really feeling so much entitlement, which is so wrong. So we're going to watch the JL Patisserie review, and you can judge it for yourself now.
So we recently had an influencer reach out to us and asked to do a collaboration, and we respectfully declined because it was not in our budget right now. Then she essentially tried to blackmail us by saying if we offered the food for free, she would then write a good review about us. I told her we'd think about it, but she still came in the next day. And although we hadn't agreed to collab with her, we recognized her when she came in, and we still were very accommodating and offered her extra drinks. So we totally respect a bad review. But what we don't like is lying and bullying. The first thing she said was that our pistachio was so faked. Fun fact, we have right here our pistachio paste.
She's even going to extents of proving herself and even showing you the ingredients that Glamora was calling out. Let's continue watching.
100% pistachios from Italy. All of our flours that we use in our product, the farine de blé, épeautre, gruyère rouge, all comes on a pallet from Europe. And also, this is our panettone flour, straight from Italy. It's written entirely in Italian. Not bad.
She even had to lift that only to prove a point, because an influencer feels entitled. Really, this is so unethical of Glamora, but let's watch.
For close to the airport bakery. Beyond the fact that we spend 10 times the amount of money to buy the ingredients, the most valuable part of our product is the time we spend to make them. From our sourdough starter to our dough, every single thing is handmade from scratch.
To make this, we spent 6 months. Yeah, to learn it, how to feed it, know how to work with it.
And it only likes the flour from Italy. And this isn't just about me. This specific influencer...
Look at that. That looks good. This response actually ate. This response ate.
Has gone to many different local restaurants and bullied them. The problem is if the next generation is influenced by her to believe it's okay to bully and disrespect the food industry. We like working with influencers, but acting like the working class is beneath you and promoting this kind of message on social media and bribing us for free stuff is not really something we support. My biggest pride in what I've built here isn't just how I source my ingredients, but it's having found the people to be in my team that wake up every day and that care about what we do, our processes, and that work really, really hard to do this. And most of all, thank you to our customers, sincerely, because it's thanks to you that since day one, I get to live my dream of having a bakery. And thanks to your support, I've been able to continue to be as true to my art.
I really totally agree with her, and let me tell you, this is not only happening here. I have seen these scenarios. I'm from Kenya, and I have seen these scenarios of people in the service industry coming out and saying influencers are taking advantage of them, and not only just taking advantage of them, they are feeling entitled to services. They're feeling entitled that they should get free services just because they have numbers. The business already doesn't need you. You have approached them because you need them, or you need their services. Then, since it's a product or a service that you believe in, you go to them, approach them, but what are you offering? Are you going to support their business, or you coming out only to tell them, oh, I can do this, just offer me? Do you know how much goes into just creating that product? How many people are working to make sure you're served? And you just want to demand free things. They're not marketing themselves. And actually they're getting free marketing right now just because of your stupid decision of going to give them a bad review, which was so wrong. They have proven, even people have come out and talked about it. But let's watch her response and what she had to say. And I was not able to get the actual response from her. So there's a video I have that breaks down her apology, which was so badly done. But wow, this thing is making me so mad. It's making me so mad. Let's watch this video.
People, I do not mind spending $10 on a pastry if they are really good, but you cannot use fake ass ingredients. That pistachio color is about as natural as my boobs, ass, and waistline. The coffee was super sour and acidic.
Actually, the natural ingredient turns green when I'm angry. Let's watch.
But I prefer a creamy chocolatey espresso. $5 for a canali. I didn't even pay that in Santro fucking paid, but that's the price next to the Phoenix airport? Okay. I was also super disappointed in the quiche. I prefer a quiche with a thick, rich, buttery crust. This had a paper thin crust. If I wanted to ingest this much eggs, I would have eaten an omelet. I absolutely loved the pumpkin pie croissant, but everything was a little on the sweet and rich side, which some people love. Personally, I like my sweets a little less sweet, so I'd rather get treated like shit and go to Paris baguette. Now, with all of that being said, I think if you stay away from the expensive ingredients like these nuts, you can definitely enjoy a delicious, rich pastry here.
That's wrong. That's wrong. I want us to watch her response after that bad review, and even her language, it's not enticing. And you can imagine the number of times we have been misled by influencers out here thinking they are for us. Just because someone did something wrong to them, or they felt they were entitled and they didn't get whatever they felt entitled to, they come and give us the bad reviews and we follow. Sometimes we have to be careful what we are following online. I'd really want to hear your views on the comment section. And if you're new in this channel, please subscribe, share this video with fellow people in the service industry so that they can get insight and even know how to approach when influencers come or other people come entitled to their businesses. So this was a breakdown, and she's breaking down the response or the kind of apology that Glamora had done.
To me, you know, I gotta say, fucking kudos, for real. I respect that, I do.
Remember this, someone finally stood up to her and she respects them for that.
He never said that I would leave a good review for a free meal. I have never done that.
She never specifically said she would leave a good review for a free meal, but she did say that, kind of mincing your words there a bit.
So I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that I was bullying you. You have way more followers than I do. You are way cooler than I am. I will admit that. Like, I would love to have the online presence that you do. So if anything, you're kind of punching down.
And here is where the tone shifts. 'Cause remember at the beginning she says, God damn, finally someone stood up to me, implying she's found like an equal opponent, someone with, and she respects them for that. But now suddenly she's like, hang on, you're punching down. I'm small fry compared to you. It's like, you can't, what? You can't just, like, you can bully someone with a massive following. You know, someone with like 3 followers can say horrific stuff to someone with 1 million followers and not expect to get some backlash for that. That's not how the world works.
I also said nice things in that video.
Yeah, she said some nice things, but it's the untruthful things which turned out to be the hidden in the negative, which was the problem.
I actually do think if you stay away from the nuts, if you're like me that don't like that fake pistachio flavor, I still have...
I'm really loving the response by Another Cup of Tea. I'm really loving her response. And this is so good. Let's continue watching.
Pastries here. Well,
okay, now that's a bit of a strange one because this is before she did the apology post where she said she didn't know for sure. At that time, she thought it was artificial flavouring, and then later on in the apology, she acknowledged that she was wrong for making that assumption because it turns out in that response video from the pastry people, it's actually genuine pistachio paste. So it's just proving that she's not a reliable food critic. It's very subjective, and this is what's bitten her on the butt, because how can people rely on you being this subjective when you make assumptions that are incorrect? So how can you give an honest review? But secondly, she still has the pastry, so she's not finished eating it. So I don't know about others, but if I get a pastry and I like it, it's gone. You know, if it's huge, which I've been to America before, this was probably nearly 2 decades ago now. No, 1 decade ago, because I went there a second time. Sorry, I was really jet lagged. And I was just too old. I was 18. You're legally allowed to drink in the UK, but not in America. So my sister, who was 3 years older than me, was kind of going, and I was like, so, where was I got completely yes, so that was it. With the portion sizes, depending on the portion sizes, yeah, the fact that she's still got it implies it's not to her liking, but she's now trying to do that damage control of being like, oh, but I'm now trying to kind of like be like, oh, it's still actually, yeah, it's nice, yeah, I've got it, it's not that bad. What's it called, retcon, that kind of stuff?
The pumpkin one that I loved and raved about, I'm not exaggerating, I ate it about 2 hours ago, and I will say it's been frozen for days since Saturday. Pulled it out after about 30 minutes, it was still phenomenal, and I'll stand by that.
Let's see her rave about the pumpkin thing.
I absolutely loved the pumpkin pie croissant, but everything was a little on the sweet and rich side, which some people love. Personally, I like my sweets a little less sweet, so I'd rather get...
She was trying to be nice. Trying to be nice.
Shit. And go to Paris again. Now...
Raving.
We also didn't get free drinks. We did get a free shot of espresso, which was so nice. Like, the Frenchman that works there...
What do you mean you didn't get free drinks? You got what?
Best man ever. I said I liked my coffee strong. He sent out a free shot of espresso. That was so nice.
So, to clarify, she didn't get free drinks, plural. But she did get...
I'm really loving Another Cup of Tea. I'm really loving her reaction.
Now she's trying to do the people pleaser thing of being like, oh, but he was really nice. The guy who served me was really nice. Trying to get you on her side again, to say, to distract about the food, but to at least say that the staff or customer service was nice.
Jenna, I respect your balls. I do respect your talent. It may not be always my taste, but I do respect your talent. I think you make beautiful pastries. I'd work on that quiche though. And I hope both your sides of your pillow are cold at night, and I do wish you nothing but the best.
And we've circled back to Jenna, I respect your balls. That whole, finally someone who stood up to me, when in the middle of that she was like, ah, you're punching down on me. So it's like, pick a lane. And it's very almost like a backhanded compliment on vindictiveness, going, well, I hope both sides of your pillow's soft. But she's snuck in that little catty remark of like, work on that quiche though. Just sounded all so ingenuine.
That was her reaction, but there's this lady I want us to watch. This is a lady who served Glamora. This is someone in the service industry, and this is what she had to say. And she was so pissed, but to an extent, I don't really want to take her issue so serious because she didn't give the actual location so that people can visit and see if Glamora also gave an actual review. This is what she had to say, and it's quite crazy. It's quite crazy, guys. She's in the service industry, and this is what she had to say.
Going around the JL Patisserie and Glamorama, and now that she's off the app, I feel safe. So, sorry, I'm a pansy. About a year ago, she came into my place of work here in the Valley and made a TikTok about it and posted it, and she was not kind. She was very mean. She didn't have anything nice really to say about where I work or how my service was, and I didn't say anything about it. I was quiet, and my coworkers asked me if I was going to talk about it or if I was going to post about it, and I didn't. I was quiet. We were quiet because we let the universe do the job for us.
Karma is a bee.
And all I can say is that I'm glad that another bully is off the internet. So, also, don't ask me where I work.
Yeah, that line is where I actually felt that she might not be genuine. She might be also be doing this for content, but I'm not so sure. But that is a perspective of someone who has already served this lady who we are out here calling out. Yeah, so, and this is another video. Let me play you this video of someone who was so angry because of the gratuity part or the tipping.
About the bakery influencer drama, it's this part, it's the gratuity part. And let me give you some background. I have been incredibly lucky to do things and experience things that I could have never dreamed of. I am incredibly grateful for my career, and still, after years of being able to do things like this, I could not imagine not tipping the staff that actually makes all of it possible. That is embarrassing, and I am embarrassed as someone in the industry. So let me just say it, as someone who's been doing this for a long time, you still need to tip. Whether you're an influencer, a travel writer, a content creator, you still need to tip. When you collab with a brand or you collab with a company, they are saying, instead of paying us in dollars, you can pay us in exposure.
I really agree with her. And there's a video I'll be uploading soon on tipping. Tipping has become an issue. There are people who are not tipping, and there are people who are tipping well, and there are people who feel that tipping is an entitlement, or gratuity is entitlement. But I'll give you a better breakdown of why you should be tipping. You should actually.
Agreeing to, and you're paying them in exposure. That server, that massage therapist, that driver, they are not getting paid in exposure. They did not agree to this collaboration, and the time that they spend with you. I had this happen this week. I had a hosted massage. I still tipped my massage therapist. Do you know why? Because that hour she spent with me, she could have spent with someone else who was going to tip. She didn't agree to doing a collaboration. That was her boss. That was people at the top, right? As far as she's concerned, she's showing up to work and she has a 1 hour massage, and she is banking on getting tipped for that hour. And if she spends an hour with me and I stiff her, she could have been with another guest that would have tipped her. And now she's being punished for a collaboration that her bosses agreed to. And that's for any of the actual frontline service workers who are making these things happen for you. The servers, the massage therapists, the drivers, whatever it may be. You still need to tip. You should factor in tipping, and you don't want to be known in this industry as someone who behaves that way. Because the reality is, even if you think, well, I told them up front that I wasn't covering gratuities, so it's on the company. They're not going to do it. They're just not. Like, it is going to be on that frontline worker that served you who's now getting screwed over. The frontline staff, the hospitality staff, the people who are making all of this actually possible, they didn't agree to any of this 9 times out of 10. They are just going where they're told to go that day at work. You have to remember, they would have been serving someone else who would have tipped them. So they are losing money if you don't tip them. The service staff should not have money taken out of their pockets because their bosses decide to host someone. So let me say this. If you're someone who wants to do this, you want the free meals, the hosted trips, I 100% get that. And I wish you success. I truly do. But if you still don't think that you need to tip, then maybe you can't afford to be in this industry.
Yeah, that is so outright. If you feel like you can't tip, you really need to move. So here's a couple that went out of their way to go and review JL Patisserie themselves. It's quite a long video, but we're going to watch it halfway so that you can be able to see how people reacted or why this Glamora issue is so serious and very unethical actually for an influencer to be doing this. That was so wrong. That was so wrong. It was badly done and she had a lot of entitlement. Let's watch, because they went out and gave their reviews and actually had to pick the same things that Glamora was having. So let's see.
And I know a thing or two about having to review a bad bakery. But I will say, just walking in, looking at their pastries, beautiful. They look amazing. I want to go back for their pizza at some point and their chicken salad sandwich.
That pizza looked insane.
The pizza looked insane. But we got coffee. Haven't tried mine yet.
Americano with caramel cold foam.
I got one of their seasonal flavors. It was like the cinnamon something. Let's try it. The bad review that JL Patisserie got said that their coffee was bitter. So, let's see.
Not in my opinion.
No, I think that's very smooth.
It's pretty good. I mean, the cold foam.
This is Manchumak, and their review, actually, you can tell they don't have bad services. JL Patisserie, they're top notch actually. A lot of people went out. This is another lady.
Oh my god. Oui. I was scrolling through TikTok last night and I saw this one bakery, like the owner of a bakery, just like popping off on an influencer for being rude. And I was like, you know what, pop off, let's go, right? Like I was like, damn, okay. And I watched the whole thing and she was just talking about how like all of her products are like straight from Italy.
She went out, also tasted their meals, and you can say
there's some croissants in there. Oh, there were scones. Damn it, there was like a pumpkin something scone that I was like, it's out obviously, but like I could imagine, you know. So back to this flaky buttery croissant. Wow, I almost just spilled my coffee in here. Oh my god, look at the layers. Oh,
you can tell
my
it's looking good. It's actually looking yummy-ish. So Glamora, this is a total loss for you. I don't know how you're going to redeem yourself.
This in Arizona. Oh my god.
You can go and check out her video. That is Jode Scare. I don't know whether I've spelled it well, but yeah. You can go and check out her video. She is not a food content creator, but she went out of her way to go and review this food. So let's continue.
I know that influencer is lying about.
There are people who were crazy and very angry because of the entitlement that Glamora had. And here are some of the videos. So let's check them out.
JL Patisserie Bakery in Phoenix. And here's how I know. If you're not familiar with the situation, I'll give you a quick recap. There is a bakery, JL Patisserie, here in the Valley, and a micro influencer on TikTok reached out to them and asked if they would compensate her food that she buys there in exchange for a good review. And JL Patisserie responded saying, thank you for thinking of us, but that's not in our budget right now. So it didn't end there. Instead of the influencer just not going there and reviewing, she ended up going the next day to the bakery, ordering a ton of stuff and leaving nasty reviews about the ingredients, about the taste of the bakery and their items. Now, this is how I know she's lying. because I have been to JL Patisserie many times over the last few years, and it is one of the best bakeries we have in the valley. Everything is made fresh, tastes fresh, so delicious, and that is how I know she was doing it to be spiteful. Her review was just all lies, and it was just to get back at the fact that they weren't willing to pay her for a good review. And she's gotten a lot of backlash for it, and she's now off of TikTok, deleted all her posts and left a message saying, I can see how it could be that I did it on purpose because they didn't pay me, but it truly was how I felt about the food, which again, she's lying. Not a single person in the valley will tell you that they went to JL Patisserie and did not enjoy the pastries or the coffee. It's top tier, and that's how you know that these influencers are being fake. They only do reviews and good reviews on places that pay them, and they're not honest reviews, even though she used to pride herself on doing honest reviews. So again, goes to tell us that we shouldn't believe everything that we see on social media.
I made it to the pastry talk, all right? And let me tell you what happened. So there's a creator here, and her name is Glamorama. And she reached out to a bakery called JL Patisserie. Something like that. Okay, I'm trying. All right. So she reached out to them and she wanted to get like free food to do a review for them and get paid like for comments. All right. The bakery declined. They said that it's not in their budget, and you know, they thankfully declined. Esa cabrona showed up the next day anyway. Okay. And then she showed up, she ordered a bunch of pastries, and then she left a very condescending ass review. All right, saying that she paid $10 for pastries, that they use fake pistachios, like just going in, like the hater that she is, okay? So JL Patisserie, you know what I mean. They made a response video, okay, where they showed those delicious croissants with the pistachios all over it, and she showed the actual container of the pistachio cream, that it was all natural, cabrona, okay? So then Glamorama made another video saying that JL Patisserie was bullying her because they made the response video. What else did you want her to do, cabrona? What else did you want her to do when you rolled over there, right? And you thought that you was going to leave a bad review to mess with their business, because that's some evil ass shit. That's what evil people do, okay? And you're done. You're done with your review. Like after this, I know you're done, all right? So she's trying to say that the bakery is bullying her, which they're not. They responded kindly, but people on the internet did not like what she did and what she said and how she's acting. So I believe she deleted her account because I couldn't find her here on TikTok, unless she blocked me. I don't know. But I couldn't find her here. And then she like gave another bullshit ass apology. And she's basically telling JL Patisserie to tell the people to leave her alone and to stop leaving comments on her videos and stuff like that. You know, you didn't care about what you was doing when you made that video about JL Patisserie either, right? You didn't care. You didn't care what people were going to say. You didn't care about hurting their business. So honestly, I think you're getting exactly what you put out there. I think you're getting exactly what you put out there, and you kind of deserve it, okay? So if anybody wants me to try some pastries, I will gladly pay for them and try them and give you my honest review, because you know I'm not gonna lie to you, okay?
Influencer entitlement has hit a new level because this JL Patisserie bakery versus Glamorama situation is so messy. Like, the bakery had to pull out receipts messy. This food influencer Glamorama messages this bakery, JL Patisserie, asking to collab, but basically wanted free food and comment gratuity in exchange for a post. And then the bakery says, no, sorry, we don't have the budget for that right now. But then Glamorama shows up to the bakery the very next day and filmed a review that was kind of condescending. She captioned it, "Please help me find a better pastry shop." The pistachio cruffin and pistachio chocolate croissant both had super fake pistachio flavor, like the one from Baskin Robbins. That is an immediate no for me. Although they try to trick me with having some real pistachios in it, it was very obvious. And the bakery has responded to her video. First, they said the pistachios are 100% real, that they recognized her when she came in, so they gave her free drinks on top of what she bought. But Glamorama said that's a lie and that they only gave her an espresso shot. Like, girl, that's still a free drink. And Glamorama accused the bakery of trying to attack her and make her look like a bully. She's getting a lot of backlash right now because people are calling out the entitlement. Especially when the bakery didn't agree to do a collab and she just pulled up and did a review, and claiming that she never asked to be paid for this, or that she would do a good review if she was comped, which the bakery said they don't stand for. And Glamorama even showed the receipts, which I feel all goes against what she's saying. I feel like the bakery handled this so well. If someone called my ingredients fake after asking for free food, I'll be like, bestie, the only artificial thing here is your sense of entitlement.
Here's how to not be an entitled micro-influencer from someone who is a micro-influencer who gets to do things for free and review sometimes. There's all this tea out here about JL Patisserie and Romy Hair Salon, among others, where a micro-influencer asks for something for free and then leave a terrible review on it, and then the small businesses are clapping back, which is great, because how entitled do you have to be to get something for free or to feel like you're entitled to a collab in the first place, but then to leave a bad review when you get something for free? I have a few simple rules that I follow. I'm all about shitting on a business that's trying to take advantage of people. They're usually huge, private equity backed businesses that are actively scamming off customers, and those I will happily call out, like the freaking tapas place on the street. When I agree to do a collab and a place is giving me a free meal, I will be very thankful. And even if I didn't like the meal that much, I will be honest by not saying a single lie. So I've done reviews where I didn't like the food that much, but I thought the drinks were really good, or that it was really cute, and I will keep saying those things. This place is so cute. You will never hear me say the food was amazing if I didn't think the food was amazing. And it will always be disclosed that it's sponsored content or a partnership, so that's how you know. But I would never go out of my way to talk crap about something that I got for free, because that is a kind gesture, and I'm going to focus on the positives and be honest to that. I've been to places where the food was so overpriced, and I would only ever go because I got it for free, and I would be like, this is really, really good quality food. Here is a screenshot of the menu and the prices so you can see for yourself whether or not you think this review is worth paying $200 to try the steak. There's a time and a place for negative reviews and honest reviews. I'm all for an honest review if the business is actually sucking, but just because someone didn't give you a free meal, or because someone did give you a free meal you weren't happy with it, I don't know, man. It's a bit much. A place really has to go out of their way to piss me off for me to make a negative review about it, and I have to research that they're gonna survive from the...
So we recently had an influencer reach out to us and asked to do a collaboration.
I think it's
and this is even Keith Lee even had to go out of his way and even give a speech. Listen in. This is Keith Lee. This is what he had to say.
Here, and I think it's very important. So let's talk about it. First, I want to say I commend the chef and her response. Not only was it respectful, it was insightful. It taught me a lot as somebody who do food reviews, because I love seeing the behind the scenes of what goes into making art, and I think making food is art. And I'm not saying none of this is a dog pile, because if you know me, you know I don't do the bullying, I don't do the dog piling, I don't do none of that. But I think it's accountability that should be taken. When I say accountability, I mean on behalf of the food reviewer. Not because she was honest and because she said she didn't like the food. I think when you start allowing money to dictate what your opinion is, or to dictate or sway anything that has to do with your opinion, I think that's when you're wrong. And
I think that is what actually is making a lot of people angry. But let me not distract you from Keith Lee's review or response.
Maybe oh, you successful. It's easy for you to say that. I've been honest since I was on a Paw Patrol chair and I was on food stamps, and I was sitting at the little breakaway table or little pull down table that my daughter had. So I'm speaking from experience. I think it's a lot of value in what it is that we do, but I think the reason why we get paid on social media is to be authentic and to be ourselves and to be honest no matter what. And I know a lot of people don't share that same sentiment, but I'm just speaking for myself. And I think it's important to not only say that, but actually put your money where your mouth is. And in my case, I'm blessed enough to say that we just sent 40 people to the state fair, and I specifically said people and not creators, because it was people who had 40 followers, it was people who had 1,000 followers, it was all the way up to 200,000 followers, but it was people who just love food. And with that being said, we coming out of paternity leave very soon. And I'm not saying I'm going to this restaurant, but what I am saying is that I love pastries and I'm a bread connoisseur. So if I am invited, I would love to come and get my honest opinion, because to me, everything looked amazing, but I would love to come see for myself. And as always, I appreciate y'all. God bless you. Have an amazing day.
Come with me to address the influencer who
This is one
tried
of the
to...
most interesting reviews by Daddy Snacks. It was funny. It was funny.
bully a small business after they wouldn't give her free stuff. So Aurora here blasted a bakery in Arizona claiming that they use cheap fake ingredients and sell overpriced products. Now, I had heard of Aurora before because she has a history of doing this to restaurants under the guise of being honest. Well, Aurora, I did some digging and I don't think this was very honest of you. I spoke to the owner of the bakery to get the full screenshots of your conversation, which I'll post here, pause to read them if you want, and get a first-hand account of what happened. So Aurora reached out to the bakery asking if they'd like to collaborate, to which the bakery said no. Aurora then offers to do an honest, mostly kind review in exchange for a free meal including tip. The bakery says they'll think about it, at which point Aurora decides to show up anyways. Despite her behavior and despite the fact she shows up and complains the music is too loud, they still give her a free espresso. Aurora has a really hard time taking the hint, so she proceeds to continue to message the bakery, this time sending her feedback. The bakery continues to be way nicer than I would ever be and thanks her for her feedback and for coming by. Now circling back to that point about Aurora being an honest food reviewer. In her review, Aurora specifically claims that they use a fake pistachio paste and sell overpriced products.
That pistachio color is about as natural as my boobs, ass, and waistline.
Well, Aurora, I spoke to Chef Jenna, and it turns out that not only does this place roast their own pistachios and import a nearly 100% pistachio paste from Italy, they make everything by hand and from scratch.
This is our pistachio paste. It's 99.5% pistachio. Rose pistachio, also fake.
Since you are so concerned with honesty, Aurora, let me give you a piece of honest advice, content creator to content creator. If you cannot consistently crack 10,000 views on a video, pay for your own food and find another hobby.
That was Daddy Snacks review, and I'm telling you, people were out here and influencers talked, and this is one of a person who has had a company in the influencing business, and this is what she had to say. Let's watch.
Someone who had her own influencer management company and managed influencers for 5 years, I have a perspective on this that a lot of people are not touching on. Yes, this influencer was absolutely wrong in the review of this place. Like, I watched it, it was disgusting. Like, it was very immature, very telling of who this influencer was as a person. But I do want to point something out that this restaurant owner, or I don't know if that's an employee who made this video, was talking about in the email that this influencer said that might not be accurate or is not, I don't know, completely true. So this owner says this influencer basically like tried to blackmail them by saying, you know, if you give me this thing for free, then I'll still make like a positive review if I don't like it that much. Guys, newsflash, this is like an unspoken rule in the influencer marketing industry. If a brand gifts you a product, it's literally an unspoken rule that like you're gonna make a good review, especially if you're like asking for it, or even if you're not asking for it. If a brand reaches out and they're like, we want to send you this, it's like an unspoken rule that even if you don't like it, right? Like even this influencer said, like, if I don't like it, I'm still like gonna be nicer. She didn't flat out say I will lie about, you know, what I think about your place. She's like, I'll be nicer in my review, I'll put it in like a constructive way. Like that is literally what every influencer on the internet does, y'all. Like your favorites, they're not telling you guys every single thing that they think, okay?
That is very, very risky for us. That is very risky for us all. Imagine how risky it is that we are following a content creator and you think their reviews, they're the best, but we are cooked. We are definitely cooked.
Brands expect this from influencers, and influencers know that they basically need to like, and influencers know that they need, I hope I can edit this. And influencers know that they need to, and influencers know this game. Like it's a game that's been played for a very long time. This is not news. And the fact that this owner basically says this is blackmail just kind of shows that maybe they don't have like an influencer, you know, marketing person in-house that understands how this game works. But I just wanted to share that just so that you guys understand that not everything you see that an influencer posts and like reviews is accurate. Okay, they are embellishing. They're embellishing their butts off. And yeah, so just wanted to throw that in there. I don't know if this adds something to the conversation, but do not trust everything you see on the internet.
Actually tried to blackmail us by saying if we offered the food for free, she would then write a good review.
This video is going crazy viral right now, especially because the influencer, she honestly did way too much. But the thing that's really killing me is the fact that she sought them out and then expected them to give her free food. And then once they were like, you know, sorry, this isn't in our budget, pressed it some more, came the next day, tried to force them to give her free stuff, and then wrote a terrible review. Now, it would be different if the restaurant reached out to her and they were like, hey, you know, can you make content for us? We're kind of working with a small budget. How does this sound? That gives her all the space to be like, yes, I'll do it for this, or no, I'm not really feeling that. But this lady was so interested in what they were selling. Like, she desperately wanted a piece of it, but she also desperately didn't want to pay for it. Now, if you're such a big and mad influencer with all these followers and you got all this influence and restaurants are scared of you, why don't you just pay for it? Come on, big bucks, open that purse up. I don't know. Nah, but like on a serious note though, I feel like everyone wants to be influencers, and some people are succeeding, yes, but y'all don't know how to treat people. Y'all don't know how to talk to people. Interactions are very important when it comes to influencing and content creating, and y'all don't have the people skills. And the craziest part about this whole thing is that even after she bombarded this company and tried to force them into a corner of like giving her free stuff, they actually did give her free drinks. She just had to pay for everything else. But she didn't like that though. She wanted everything to be free, so then she wrote that terrible review. I'm no expert. I've only been invited to a restaurant once, and I did get a free item and then everything else I paid for. But I had no problem with that because I genuinely wanted to support the restaurant. And maybe this is because I'm a small creator, I don't know, but I genuinely do enjoy making content for people or businesses, whether I'm getting paid or not, whether I'm getting something out of it or not. Like me personally, when I think of influencing, when I think of content creation, I'm trying to see how I can add value to the people who are watching me, as well as the people that I'm trying to get people to buy from or to support. And I think that's what's wrong with social media today. A lot of people are doing influencing or content creation for the sake of opportunities and getting paid. But we also should focus on the interpersonal aspects of it, like connecting with people, trying to just add value to everyone. And this is my last point, but you can honestly look at my page right now and you'll see tons of content supporting like small businesses, individuals, and those videos don't always do well. Sometimes they flop. They flop very badly. Like the restaurant I went to that I made the content for did 3 videos, all 3 flopped. But guess what? I genuinely enjoyed my time there and I loved being able to do something in support of them. Whether it, you know, did well or not, different story. But I took the time creating that content because I wanted it to make an impact. I wanted it to help them. And I think if more people created their content with that in mind, they probably would do well. Now to that lady, I really, really hope that she takes this and learns from it instead of continuing to be a bully in the future. But we'll see.
So we recently had...
Yeah, so basically that's it. And thank you so much for watching up to this part. My name is Dennis Njoroge. If you're new to this channel, kindly consider subscribing. I really appreciate all the creators that were featured in this video. Credits belong to them. And follow them for such insights. And I really appreciate their insight, because it helps us have a better conversation. You have heard from the influencers, you have heard from people in the industry, you have heard from even people who went out there or went out of their way to go and give a review, and an honest one of the restaurant, which makes Glamora look bad. Actually, not look, be bad. Because JL Patisserie did their part, Glamora did her part, and made her decisions the way she did, which was so wrong. My name is Dennis Njoroge. Subscribe to the channel and kindly comment and tell us what do you think about this whole scenario. Thank you so much. See you in the next.